loans in 2024. So I'm going to be listing off and telling you about all of the players who are now available to sign pre-contract transfer agreements. So obviously the January window is now open, meaning clubs can officially sign pre-contract agreements with another player. So if a player has 6 months left on their deal, they can agree a pre-contract agreement to leave that club. And previously, a lot of clubs have taken advantage of this, and the free agent market has proven to be very, very good. So I'm going to tell you about all of the players who are now available in all of the big leagues. We're going to go through each one, and then all of the players outside the big leagues as well, so you guys are aware of who your club could potentially try and get, and also if these players don't sign a pre-contract, who may be available on a free transfer come the summer. Of course, this is as of recording as well, so things might change. Some players might sign new contracts, some players might already leave, but this is just as of recording. So yeah, let's get into it, and we'll start in the Premier League. And also note that some players also have club options in their contracts, so the clubs could trigger a year deal, but we'll get into that. So in the Premier League we'll begin. Rafa Varane. Man United have a decision to make about a player who has won one World Cup, played in another, and won the Champions League 4 times. Varane's contract expires this summer with the option of an additional year to extend, but it is uncertain as to whether that deal will be extended. Thiago's consistent injury problems played a part in Liverpool signing 4 new midfielders in last year's summer window. He rejected offers from Saudi Arabia at that time, but as things stand, it seems more probable he will leave Liverpool after this season rather than stay. Jorginho. It is common for clubs to include the option of an extra year in a contract, and Jorginho, who was signed on deadline day last January, is no exception, with an option to extend the Italy midfielder's stay at the Emirates by an additional year, should Arsenal choose to. Thiago Silva. Chelsea are heavily reliant on Silva despite his age. The 39-year-old remains a regular starter throughout this season. Now, it's not known yet if Silva will be offered a new contract. Chelsea's current centre-back options beyond the centre-back include Disasi, Fofana, Badiashile, Colwell. So they are pretty stacked there, and it's very 50-50 as to whether he will be here in next season. Fabian Schär. Having started all 19 of Newcastle's Premier League games this season, Schär looks set to stick around beyond January when his contract expires. Newcastle are expected to offer him a new deal in the coming months. Eric Dyer. The Tottenham defender was offered to Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest last summer but stayed in North London. Dyer has only featured in 4 Premier League games this season and seems likely to either leave this January or sign a pre-contract and leave in the summer. Anthony Martial. Martial became the world's most expensive teenager when Man United signed him in 2015. He then signed a 5-year contract in 2019 with an option of an extra year. But like David De Gea, who left in the summer despite having an optional year on his deal, United do not intend to prolong Martial's stay under the terms of the current agreement. Ivan Perisic. After featuring in all but 4 of 38 Premier League games last season, Perisic their class, manager Jurgen Klopp said in December when asked if Liverpool planned to offer Matip a new contract. Originally signed on a free transfer in 2016, Matip has had a long-term knee injury that means he might have already played his last game for Liverpool. Seamus Coleman. Coleman is now into his 15th season at Everton after signing an extension last summer. The 35-year-old defender is club captain but now a peripheral figure, having only made just 2 Premier League appearances. Willian. Like others, Willian was offered the opportunity of a pay rise via a move to Saudi Arabia last summer. Al Shabab were willing to offer the winger a salary of $200k per week. In the end, he signed a new 1-year deal at Fulham, which includes the option to extend by an additional 12 months. James Milner. Jurgen Klopp wanted to keep Milner last summer, but Liverpool opted against it, which paved the way for Brighton to swoop in and sign him as a free agent. With more than 600 Premier League appearances under his belt, the ever-present midfielder continues to be an important player under De Zerbi and will probably sign an extension. Adam Lallana. If Lallana decides to call time on his playing career, a pathway into coaching with his current club Brighton could be his next venture. During the international break in September, Lallana joined up with the England under-21 squad in a coaching capacity, and Brighton have a reputation for hiring former players in coaching roles, so potentially he could be hanging up the boots this summer. Serge Aurier. Following the recent appointment of Nuno, it remains to be seen if Aurier will feature as prominently for Nottingham Forest as he did under predecessor Steve Cooper. If Forest do want to keep him, the now 31-year-old, they have an option to extend his contract by a year. Idrissa Gueye. Everton bought Gueye back to the club from PSG in 2022, 3 years after he left them. The midfielder has featured in a majority of Everton's games so far under Sean Dyche and may sign an extension. Danny Welbeck. As one of Brighton's most senior pros, Welbeck's contributions extend beyond what happens on the pitch. Despite not always being a regular starter, he is still considered a valuable player at Brighton, but his future is very much up in the air. Tosin Adarabioyo. Tosin was on Tottenham's radar last summer, and with his contract now running down, he is likely to be one of the most coveted free agents over the coming months. Signed for a bargain fee of just 1.5 million, Fulham could lose a player they thought they would be able to make a sizable profit from for free. Lucas Fabianski. In 2022, Fabianski signed a 1-year contract at West Ham with an option to extend. That option was activated last summer. The goalkeeper has predominantly been used in cup competitions this season, with only 3 Premier League starts, so it remains to be seen if he will stick around. Ben Mee. Brentford are expected to keep 34-year-old Ben Mee at the club beyond this summer. Mee signed on a free transfer from relegated Burnley and is considered to be a leader under head coach Thomas Frank. Miguel Antonio. West Ham's longest tenured player signed a 2.5-year contract in 2022 that included an option to extend. The forward came close to leaving the club last January, but stayed around. He has lost his place in the team though now, so whether or not he will stay at West Ham remains to be seen. Johnny Evans. The Northern Lions' 4th most capped player originally signed a short-term contract back at Man United before the deal was extended for the duration of the current season. The 35-year-old defender has made 12 appearances in the Premier League and 2 in the Champions League, and has actually become a crucial player to Man United. Vlad Guval. West Ham are in negotiations with Guval to keep him around beyond the summer. Aaron Greswell and Okpon are also set to be out of contract, but the club are unlikely to offer them new deals. And finally in the Premier League, Chris Wood. The loan agreement Forest had in place for Wood was made permanent because of a clause in the agreement. 18 months later, the striker finds himself out of contract soon, alongside Czech Yate Olaina, Willy Bolly and Scott McKenna. Alright, let's move on to La Liga. Luka Modric, a staple of Real Madrid's dynasty that yielded 5 trophies between 2014 and 2022. Modric does not have much left to accomplish at club level. Croatia's record cap holder is out of contract soon and turns 38 early next season. He received offers from clubs in Saudi Arabia last year, so I'm guessing he will receive those similar offers this year. Toni Kroos, Modric's longtime Madrid midfield partner, finds himself in a similar position, but there is an interesting difference between the two players in terms of their contracts. When Madrid gave Kroos a new deal last summer, they wanted to sign him until 2025, but Kroos, who turns 34, opted to sign just a 1-year contract instead, so it's very much up in arms what's going to happen with those two. Sergio Ramos. In April 2022, Ramos said he wanted to play at the top level for another 4 or 5 years. Basic maths tells us that former Real Madrid player, who is now back at his first pro club Sevilla, is intent on extending his career until 2026, which suggests retirement is not on the cards yet. Koke. Athletic Madrid are the only club Koke has ever played for. The midfielder, who turns 32 in a week, still features regularly for Diego Simeone's side, which would suggest he may be set to continue his career in Spain's capital. In Serie A, we have Olivier Giroud. Giroud is still making meaningful contributions at AC Milan, having scored 8 goals to go along 5 assists this year. The now 37-year-old signed a new contract in April that runs to the end of his season. Given that he is still in good form, he will not be short of suitors in a few months. Adrian Rabiot. Man United have tried to sign Rabiot twice in the past 2 years. Last summer, he chose to remain at Juventus for another season instead. The terms of that agreement will see the France midfielder again become a free agent in June. Leandro Spinazzola. An Achilles injury during Italy's triumph in the Euro finals campaign derailed Spinazzola's climb towards becoming a household name. Since its recovery, the Roma fullback has continued to deliver under coach Jose Mourinho and was part of their side that won the first Europa Conference League in 2022. And Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez left Man United for Inter Milan initially on a season's loan, stayed 2 more years, left Marseille, then rejoined Inter 12 months later. With just 2 goals, both of which came in the Champions League, and 0 assists, at the age of 35, his value to Inzaghi's team appears to be declining. Over in Liga, we have, of course, Kylian Mbappe. When Mbappe signed a new deal with PSG, it was for 2 years with the option of an additional 1. Usually it's the club who decide whether or not to extend in that agreement, but in this case Mbappe has the final say. That contract is set to expire at the end of the season, as Mbappe has not triggered that extension. But as we know with this Mbappe saga, anything can happen. But he is now free to sign pre-contract if he so wishes to. Keylor Navas as well. Now Navas left PSG on loan last January in search of first team football, but after that spell now finds himself back on the bench in Paris and without any first team appearances so far this season. A move away would seem probable given that he is now 37 years old and unlikely to displace Donnarumma as the undisputed starter. Over in the Bundesliga we have Marco Reus. Having spent more than a decade of his career at Dortmund, a logical assumption would be that Reus would be more interested in staying put rather than playing elsewhere. For now, there is no official word about where the midfielder who turns 35 will play next season. And Matt Hummels. Hummels is undecided either, but his age does not appear to be limiting his opportunities. The now 35-year-old continues to feature regularly for Dortmund, and he was also named in Julian Nagelsmann's first Germany squad this past October. Okay, now here are some other notable players who will soon be free agents. Angel Di Maria from Benfica, Jamie Vardy from Leicester, Zielinski from Napoli, Mario Hermoso from Atletico Madrid, Guido Rodriguez from Real Betis, Daichi Kamada from Lazio, Rafa Silva from Benfica, Gabriel Barbosa from Flamengo, Thiago Diallo from Lille, Alex Mellet from Napoli, Leandro Bolello from Mainz, Wilfred Ndidi from Leicester, Pablo Fornal from West Ham, Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth, Kelechi Iheanacho from Leicester, and Che Adams for Southampton. So all of those players there I've listed in this video could be available on pre-contract or will be free agents in the summer. Is there anyone I missed out, and is there anyone on this list who you would take at your club? There's some decent players on here, so let me know in the comments below if you want any of them at your club. And if you have enjoyed, please leave a like, consider subscribing